Listen, we are on the cusp of 4.0, right? But we do have one more character to talk about before 4.0 comes out. And the reason being is because I am actually surprised I haven't done a full build guide slash pre-guide for this character, but I have talked about him in two separate videos before. So since we're combining these videos, I wanted to go ahead and bring up Scaramouche again, aka the Wanderer. Now, the Wanderer is an Animo DPS with the Catalyst weapon type, and he's really cool in the sense of having fun with him. But I also have to say that as it pertains to DPSs, he's kind of lacking, but he's still really fun. And I think that every character has their niche, and the Wanderer has it. So let's go ahead and talk about Scaramouche and what you need to get him ready from level 1 to level 90 and to build him properly. Now, before we get into that though, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out, and leave a comment. We also, just letting you know, we're sponsored by Gamersubs, and the new blood orange flavor with Shibuya Kaho is out right now. Use code TAISHA for 10% off, and let's go ahead and get into the video. The Wanderer is a fun character. I'm gonna say that right now. So let's go ahead and talk about how to level him up from level 1 to level 90. And also talk about triple crowning. So as you can see, as we talked about before, he is an Animo Catalyst user, and he uses the following materials to level up from level 1 to level 90. We have the Viuda Turquoise Silver, the Viuda Turquoise Fragment, the Viuda Turquoise Chunk, and the Viuda Turquoise Gemstone. You're gonna need a grand total of 1 silver, you're gonna need 9 fragments, 9 chunks, and 6 gemstones. Now, you can get these, as you've seen, from the Animo Hypostasis. You could get it from the Wii Nut that's out now. You know, that stupid thing. You can get it from Wii Nut. You can get materials from Magu Genki as well. And also, I believe you could get these materials from Dvalin. Now, what's important about this is that you want to make sure that you get 3 of these silvers to make the fragments, 3 of the fragments to make the chunk, and 3 of the chunks to make the gemstone. So, now let's go ahead and talk about the actual boss material. The Perpetual Caliber, which you get from the Aeon Blight drinks. Now, I don't remember if you could actually get the gemstones and stuff from the Aeon Blight, but if you can, that's a great way to farm them. But Aeon Blight Drake, you're gonna need 46 in total of these materials, which means if you go at a rate of getting 2 per 1, you're gonna have to fight him 23 times. If you go at a rate of 3, I believe the last time I checked the calculations, it was 16 times of getting all of that. So in between 16 to 23 times, you're gonna need to fight that boss. Up next, we have the Rakushava mushrooms, which are the Sumeru specialty item that you mainly find in the forest areas, and you need a grand total of 168 of these. Now, there hasn't been a lot of characters that have used these materials, so talk to your friends, talk to fellow streamers who might, have that stuff, might let you into their world. I would definitely recommend getting these as soon as possible, because if you can get 168, you won't have too many problems. Now, we have the next thing, these handguards. So you have the old handguard, the Kaguuchi handguard, and of course the famed handguards. You're gonna need a good chunk of those. As we scroll down here, you're gonna need a grand total of 18 of the old handguards. You're gonna need 30 of the Kaguuchi handguards, sorry, and then 36 of the famed handguards. You're gonna need more of these when it comes to talents, but again, it goes off of the same thing that what we were talking about before. 3 of the old handguards make a Kaguuchi handguard, and 3 Kaguuchi handguards make the famed handguards. And that's going to be what you need in total in regards to just leveling up from level 1 to level 9. Now, of course, you're going to need a grand total of 420k Mora as well, but, shocker, it costs you Mora to get stuff done. Now, as we scroll down, let's go ahead and talk about this right here. These are what you're gonna need for skill ascensions, aka your talents. Now, if you're going to triple crown Scaramouche, which I don't think you entirely need to do, but it wouldn't hurt triple crowning him. He does benefit from the triple crown more than others. But if you are going to triple crown your Scaramouche or Wanderer or however you want to call him, you have to triple these amounts. So to get from level 1 to level 10, here's what you need. You're gonna need a grand total of 9 Teachings of Praxis, which 3 of those make a Guide to Praxis, which you need 63 of, and then 3 of these Guides of Praxis make the Philosophies of Praxis, which you're going to need 114 in total, which is a lot, and it's gonna come from the Sumeru domain, where you could farm it on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, which Sundays are collectively for every single one. So make sure you get those farmed. You're gonna need about 2 to 3 weeks worth of farming that domain if you don't do refreshes. Now, we talked about the handguards. Again, you're gonna need 18 more of the old handguards. You're gonna need 66 more of the Kageuchi handguards right here. And you're gonna need 93 famed handguards on top of that. So that's a lot. I know, it's a lot of the freaking Nobushi that you gotta fight, but trust me, you can get through it. And then, of course, let's go ahead and talk about the last few things, which right here, as it stands, we have the Daka's Bell, which you get from the Scaramouche World Boss Fight. You're going to need 18 of these in total, and, of course, 3 Crowns of Insight, which is pretty normal. And then overall, from getting your Scaramouche from level 1 to level 90 and triple crowning, you're going to need a grand total of 7.1 million Mora. That's a lot, but if you have certain characters you like to build, like me, you're gonna go for it. I honestly have thought about triple crowning Scaramouche because I want to see how good he can be, but I've also just waited and waited patiently for it. So, let's see here. Give me just 1 second while I go, boop. There we go. Alrighty. So, what are we gonna do here? Well, first things first, I want to kind of showcase what Scaramouche can do. And I haven't set up my teams yet, so we're just gonna kind of get some stuff together, you know. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. I have a couple things that I want to show off with Scaramouche because there are some things that people haven't really tried with Scaramouche just yet, or at least haven't looked into. Now, for me, I tend to look at multiple guides. Like, big shout out to Sip Sip Stefan. He's one of the people that I like to use for my Scaramouche. So let's go ahead and first look at the character before we start updating teams. So Scaramouche here, as you can see, my biggest things are making sure that he has his crit rate and crit damage. When you're building your Scaramouche, you want to make sure that crit rate, crit damage, and attack percentage take the forefront. The next thing is Elemental Mastery. As you can see, I've kind of failed in that with my Scaramouche. And the reason why Elemental Mastery is important is because your elemental reactions depend on it. And because he's got Swirl, you're always going to be elemental or doing elemental reactions except for Dendro and Geo. So, but yes. After that, you could go Energy Recharge, but that's the lowest of the priorities. Now let's talk about what which weapon works best. Now, I used to think that Lost Prayer of Sacred Wind was his best bet, which I still think is one of his better options, but a lot of people don't use it anymore. A lot of people would use the Tula, which is his weapon, of course. You could get Memory of Dust, which I've seen people use. Even Dodoko Tails has been getting a lot of use from him because of the normal attacks hitting opponents with increased charge attack damage by 32%. And his charge attack does a lot of freaking damage. I've also seen people using Witsith. Witsith is a very, very good possibility as well, especially with the different things that you can do. Attack plus 120%. You can go into Aria, which is elemental damage plus 96%, and Interlude, elemental mastery is increased by 480. So there's plenty of options. You could even use like Skyward Atlas here. I wouldn't personally use it, but I've been mainly using Lost Prayer of Sacred Winds to get that increased movement speed. So that's my thing for that. But I would recommend if you're gonna get him and you're gonna invest a lot in him, just get his weapon. It's worth it. Now let's go ahead and talk about artifacts. For me, I'm running a two-piece, or at least I thought, yeah, two-piece. For some reason, I thought I was running two-piece gilded. I don't mind me. I'm personally running a two-piece on him, which is two-piece of the Gladiator set, two-piece of Viridescent Veneer, which is still a good set to run. You want to run a two-piece attack percentage and a 2-piece Viridescent normally. Now, there are some other options that you could run for him, as I've seen. There is the Desert Pavilion Chronicle, and also you could run a 4-piece Shimenawas. I wouldn't run a 4-piece Shimenawas personally, but I do see the benefits of it. So there is that. Now, for me, again, the preferences are crit rate, crit damage, intertwined, attack percentage, and then EM followed by ER. Now, my pieces are pretty dang good. Overall, your sands should be an attack percentage sands, your cup should be an ammo damage bonus, and your circlet should be crit rate or crit damage depending on what you need most of. So there is that. Please make sure that you're doing that responsibly. Now let's talk about his talents. As you can see, I'm 7, 7, and 7, and the reason why it's across the board is because he is a catalyst user and benefits from having that animo coming out of his normal attacks. Now, let's talk about his first skill, the Haniga Song of the Wind. Concentrate the power of the winds to break free from the shackles of the earth, dealing AoE animo damage before leaping into the air and entering a wind-favored state. The Wanderer cannot perform plunging attacks in the state. When he uses normal and charge attacks, they will be converted into Kugo Fushuden and Kugo Fukai, respectively. The damage they deal and their AoE will be increased, and their damage will be considered normal and charge attack damage respectively. Kugo Tufukai will not consume stamina. The Wanderer will hover persistently during this time, and the state is active. The Wanderer's movements gain the following properties. Persistently consumes Kugoru. They make it so hard for me to read. Kugoru Yukai or Yoku. Kugoru Yoku points to maintain the hovering state. When sprinting, additional points will be consumed for the Wanderer to accelerate midair. Holding sprint will cause persistent point consumption to maintain speed. The effect will be reduced his default speed. Jumping expends extra points to increase hovering height. Holding jump will cause persistent point consumption to keep increasing hovering height. Running out of points will end the wind favored state. A second cast during the duration of wind favor will also end it. So, what are they talking about? There's so much to go off of on this one because it's just, it's so much. We'll just use this team real quick just to kind of show it off. This is actually my exploration team. This is it. You go into this state, you can hover, you can throw these little wind blades, wind size, and then as you're hovering, as it ends, you can plunge. But that's only when it ends. He's really fun in regards to that, but it is so long-winded. Let's go ahead and talk about his burst really quick, which is significantly less. Compresses the atmosphere into a singular vacuum that grinds all troubles away, dealing multiple instances of AoE animo damage. If the character is in a wind favored state due to the skill Haniga's Song of the Wind, favored state will end the casting. And then of course we go into the ascensions right here. The first ascension, if Haniga's Song of the Wind comes in contact with Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, Electro when it is unleashed, this instance of the wind favored state will obtain buffs according to the contacted elements. Hydro point cap increases by 20, Pyro attack increases by 30%, Cryo crit rate increases by 20%, and Electro when normal and charged attacks hit the opponent. So long-winded I ran out of breath. 0.8 energy will be restored. Energy can be restored this way once every 2 seconds, or 0.2 seconds. And then the second Ascension passive, when the Wanderer hits opponents with Kugo Fushuden or Kugo Taufukai in his wind-favored state, he has a 60% chance to obtain the Descent effect. The next time the Wanderer accelerates in mid-air, while in this instance, the wind-favored state, this effect will be removed. The acceleration instance will not consume any points, and he will fire off 4 wind arrows that deal 35% of his attack as animo damage each. For each Fushuden and Tofukai that does not produce the effect, the next attack of these types will have a 12% increased chance of producing it. The calculation of this effect production is done once every 0.1 seconds, which is why he's a fun DPS in general, because of what he's able to do with that. Now, I'm going to set up a really quick team. Again, really quick. We're going to put Faruzan because C6 Faruzan, which I don't have, but Faruzan is still a fantastic unit for him. And then we're gonna go mainly free to play with Xingqiu. I do have him C6, so that's the good one. And then we're gonna go ahead and let's throw in, let's throw in a healer. Let's throw in Kokomi. Mainly free to play. Now, this team right here is gonna be mainly consistent of just getting those Hydro Swirls and using not only the defense shredding of Faruzan, but also getting that burst from Xingqiu that's going to help out in the long run with overall damage. Because when you're in that Song of the Wind state, you're going to be mainly auto-attacking. And since you're mainly auto-attacking, you're going to be setting off those Hydro Bolts. So let's go ahead and fight this boy really quick to show him off. Now, this is still my old build of Scaramouche, so this isn't updated with any of the new information that I have gotten that make him a lot better, but this is to kind of show how good he can be. So let's go ahead. We're gonna get our energy right here, get this going, get him to move. Now look at that. And then as you saw with as I dodged in the air, you saw those 4 bolts that we were just talking about in his ability. They work so well. All right, we're gonna get our energy back on this. Try to see if I can get my energy back. We do that little sprint and it gives that little bit of energy, and then we're gonna end it with footsies. There we go. Now, overall, Scaramouche is fun. I think that he's actually a very, very fun DPS in general. And it's not to say like fun doesn't equal good, because he is good in his own right, and he works really well with certain teams. You could pair him in a Pyro team and get the same results. Just put Zhangling instead of Xingqiu, and maybe find a healer that won't mesh, like maybe a Dendro. But there's plenty of other options you can go with him because he is Animo and he does get that swirl damage, and he does benefit, as we've talked about in his talents. He could benefit from Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, and Electro, which is fantastic. It's what you would want. So overall, Mr. Scaratussi here, as I have so called him, Scaramouche is a fun character, and I honestly think that you all should give him a try. Does that make him the best DPS in the game? Absolutely not. But he's fun, and that's ultimately what matters. If you're not having fun, then why are you playing? And y'all, that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Again, check out G-Subs. We do have a sale going on of the Blood Orange flavor, so make sure you get your 10% off at checkout by using code TYSTRA. And of course, love you all to death, and we will catch you all in the next video. Please take care and be safe.